Hi everybody, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. Let's continue on our version 0.13 playthrough. I just updated to version 0.13.2, which had a few bug fixes. So hopefully everything will be pretty much the same, with the exception of those bugs, of course. Before we start today, I thought we could take a quick look at some of the changes. The first thing I'm going to look at is, and I mean the changes in version 0.13. I haven't really spent much time talking about those. At one point I did prepare a short video to explain some of them, but I ended up not releasing it just because some other videos had already been released that did the same thing, and to be honest, I thought they did a better job than I did, so I just left it alone. But I'll just take a quick minute to go through a few of those new improvements. The first of which I think is the technology tree. So now you can see that we actually have a proper tree structure on this part of the screen. So if you select something that you're interested in, let's say alien technology, now we can see all of the tech that is required to reach alien technology. And then you can also see the technology that is unlocked by doing so. So I think that's a pretty handy feature. And even on this screen, you can look at future technology, and it'll highlight for you which items you need to research in order to get there. So if we want power armor, we know that we need to unlock power armor, or if we want power armor 2, we need to unlock power armor. We need to unlock armor crafting 3 and armor crafting 2. And of course, green is the stuff that you've already researched. Yellow is stuff that you can research now, where you've unlocked the requirements. And then red are the ones that you have not met the requirements yet to do the research. Now, also on the research tree, there are a few new items. On concrete, for example, you can also unlock a concrete with red and black stripes, which I think is pretty neat. Let's see what else is new here. There are a number of new inserters added to the game. There's one called the filter inserter, and this is a lot like the smart inserter from before, in that you can tell it only to pick up a certain kind of item. But now all of the inserters in the game have the ability to connect to a logistics network. So when you used the smart inserter before to only work if there were a certain number of items in your logistics network, or if certain circuit conditions were met, all of the inserters can do that now. So the filter inserter really only adds the ability to filter for certain items. Let's see what else. There are changes in the train graphics, which I'm sure we'll see later on in this game. Turrets. There are now damage upgrades for the flamethrower, which were not part of the game before. There is also now a flamethrower turret, which is unlocked with the flamethrower research. I would like to try some of those in this game. I'd actually like to try the flamethrower itself, because I've never really used the flamethrower before, and I've seen some videos of it. It looks pretty cool. I want to give it a shot. What else? Oh, the inserter stack bonuses now will work on and off the belts. So before, the inserter stack size bonus only worked when you were going from container to container. Now the stack bonus works on belts as well, which is for me a huge improvement. That'll definitely make a difference in how some of the logistics are designed. I'm trying to find some of these other inserters. There's another inserter now called a stack inserter that can pick, with full upgrades, I think it can pick up to 12 items at a time, whereas the other inserters will go up to 3. There is a cluster grenade now, in the game. I've tried that before in a God mode game, and that one is pretty devastating. And there's also grenade damage upgrades. The landfill, of course, we already talked about. So lots of interesting updates that I am looking forward to try as soon as we get an opportunity. So the UI has some buttons up here now. So you can click a button to get to the menu. The production statistics now has a filter. So if you select an item, it'll highlight that item. You can reset that filter. There's a screen now for bonuses that'll list all of the upgrades, damage upgrades, stack size, robot speed, all that sort of thing will be summarized on the bonus screen. There is the map, which basically works the same way as before. There's now a train interface, which we will see later. That helps you keep track of all of your trains. And then, of course, we have the achievements. And I'd like to get some of these achievements. For some reason, everybody who has ever died by a train in any game seems to get this Watch Your Step achievement automatically. I think that's something that they need to fix. These achievements are already locked because I don't have any chance of getting them. A diesel locomotive within the first hour and a half, and this lazy bastard achievement. You have to craft less than 111 items manually. So, pretty neat stuff. We'll get more into that stuff as we go through it. And the reason I'm not doing a more in-depth video now is just because I haven't done a complete playthrough to the point where I can really speak intelligently on a lot of those updates. So, all right, so let's get back to business here. We've got some iron. And the next thing that we need to do is set up a line for copper. So let's get to work on that. I'm going to need more furnaces. I've got 25 here now. Let's go over and grab some stone. I'm going to build 40 furnaces like I did on the iron. There's 10 more, and we need 5 more. Okay, that'll give us 40. I think we can cut that off there. Okay, so we've got iron here. I think copper could go below this pond here. Let me see. It'll be close to the copper ore. Yeah. Well, that may get in the way of our steam. But I am planning to go solar before too long. So I don't expect that we'll have more than maybe 6 or 8 rows of steam engines. So yeah, so let's set it up right below this pond. And I'll probably fill that in once I have enough landfill. Don't have a whole lot right now, so. Let's head down there and take a look. I think my research has stopped. Yeah, we need some copper plate. Okay. Had to remember where I put my copper plates. They're over here. I'm playing another game, just a personal game in addition to this one. Since I can't, I can't play this one quite as often as I want. Just because of limitations being here in the house and everything. So from time to time I may get a little confused about where things are. Okay, so we'll set it up down there. Fortunately, there aren't a boatload of trees like there are up here. I just want to line up the belts and everything so that it's in alignment with this iron line. So that's why I'm zoomed way out like this. And I'd like this to come straight down. See if I can do that without moving too much. Yeah, I think it's like right there. Alright, so let's just run, and hopefully I won't run into any trees that will cause me to deviate from my course. Alright. No, that moves me over one. I'll lay that down just so I don't lose my place. Okay. Let's see, am I far enough south yet? I think so. Okay. So where'd that thing go? I think it's here in these trees, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. Okay, let me just check that again before I do any more. I know there's an option to turn on a grid, but I don't recall what it is. Okay. Yeah, so that is where the splitters for both sides of the feed lines should go, where I put that one belt. Okay, and let's see where the upper limit of this line should go. Would be like the bottom of this pond, and then maybe another 10 or so spaces. So I think right about here is where the top of our first line should be. Okay, so let's start clearing out some space. We'll have to fill in this little puddle. I think we should be able to do that with 3 or 4 pieces of landfill. We'll get to that later. Okay, so let's do that. Let me place a furnace just so we can kind of space this out. And let me check how many spaces we put in the first furnace. It would be cool if you could install cameras. Okay, it looks like it is it only one space away? Yeah, it is. Okay. I thought I left more space there, but it's only one space. Actually, maybe I should leave more space. I think I will. I'll leave 2 spaces before I put the first furnace. Okay, where are my furnaces? Here they are. All right, so we're going to come down 2, 1, 2, over 2. All right, and that's where it's going to go. And then, of course, there'll be a space of 1, like that. So now we can start to lay this out. Okay, actually I'm going to move these down by 1 because in this case the coal will be coming up from the north. So I'd like the coal line to go in on the north side. Okay, and then we'll have another furnace here. 2 spaces, 1, 2. All right. So this is going to be our copper line. Just want to take another look at the map. Look for aliens. We've got a small base out here. Ooh, looks like there's a large body of water here to our west. Which could be quite fortunate because that gives us a defensive advantage in that on this whole side of our base, there will be very little enemy bases spawning, if any. You know, we could wall off here, wall off there, and that'll prevent pretty much anything from getting to this side of us. So hopefully that turns out to be a huge ocean. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, what else do I need to do? Well, let's just start clearing trees so we can put in the rest of these furnaces. And then we'll work on feeding the ore and the coal down here. I do need to get up there and put those copper plates in my research in the red science assembly, so we keep the research moving. Forgot about that. And we'll put some iron plate in there as well. And I think one thing I'll do is when I get this line started, before I connect the coal, I'm just going to dump all this wood in there so that we can get rid of some of it and put it to good use. You know, I messed around with Bob's mods before. I don't know if any of you have ever used that mod. I'm sure some of you have, but it's a mod that changes a lot of things about the game. It creates a lot of additional steps in the production. Let's do automation 2. And creates a lot more intermediate items. There are a lot more ores in the game. Basically makes it a lot more complicated, but one of the things I liked about it is the first, most basic level of circuit boards use wood as an ingredient. And it really gives you something to do with all the wood that you collect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Take this stone out while we're here. Yeah, because in the vanilla game, especially when you start off in an area like this, you end up with just tons and tons of wood and nothing to do with it. You just end up having to dump it out. Now, usually once I get robots set up, I'll have it so that all my wood goes to storage chests, and then I'll put somewhere, you know, on a coal line or something, a place to unload all the wood. But we're pretty far from robots at this point, so we'll have to do it on our own. Okay, let's grab some more belts. I'm actually gonna let that fill up to 500. We're gonna be using a lot of belts. I'll grab some landfills, because there is that little pond down here that I want to fill in. And let's get some more circuits going. It's always good to have circuits in your inventory, because they do take a long time to craft manually. Okay, so let's get this going here. Take out a few more of these trees. And I'll go up and grab those circuits before I start making inserters. So I'm going to need a lot of inserters for this line. We're going to need 40 yellow and 40 red. Okay, let's put down some more furnaces. Oops. Oh no. I messed up. I'm going to have to redo those. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I was off by 1. I missed 1 space. Not a big deal. I think we lucked out with the starting area in terms of the fact that we've got that huge wall of water back there. There's only those 2 small biter bases. In fact, this one might not even be a base. That might just be some worms. So hopefully things will be pretty quiet here for a while before we have to start dealing with any significant attacks. Gives us a chance to get things rolling. All right, let's fill that in. Okay, now I'm gonna go grab circuits, start making some inserters, and then we'll start working on feeding ore and coal down there. Okay, so I'm gonna craft the red ones first. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. I should really get some more of that going here. Well, that's okay. We're going to be replacing this very soon. Okay, let's go grab some more belts. Might be able to finish filling this in. There we go. And like I said, I'll probably fill in this pond. Well, not all of it, but I'll fill in some of that to give us a little more room to put things. Okay, so I want to go up north here to check on the ore belts and the coal, so I can line up the belts for copper. All right, now in this case, we've got copper over here. So kind of like what we did here, I think we'll mine it here, send it north and then west, and then run it south to all the lines. And we're not going to get very far with these copper patches before we have to set up a mining outpost somewhere and use trains. So what I'll do up here is I'll just count how many spaces we have, so I can line it up down below. Okay, so from the splitter we have that many spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so 16 spaces, and then the coal belt goes on the 17th. So let's go down there and set that up. Looks like we may have to do some landfill again. I really like having the landfill as part of the game now. I think that's a great addition. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Coal line goes there, and the ore goes there. Okay, so let's fill in that. There we go. That should give us enough room. Okay, so this will be for the coal. And this will be for the ore. And that should be lined up to everything up there. So it'll be nice and well organized. Okay, let's craft some yellow inserters. That's 10. I think I need to get more iron. So let's go up and grab some iron. I think I'm doing okay on transport belts right now. Oh, there's the iron. Okay, get a little bit more. All right, so we got 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And I'll make a few more for the future. All right, so we need to get some mining drills set up and figure out how we're going to route our ore over there. So this patch I think we bring below the lake, and this patch we bring up. And then we can run the ore over like this. Okay, so let's make a few mining drills. We'll just do 6 to start with. And if I fill this in, that'll help to straighten out the lines. I think that's good enough. All right, so we'll do it like this. Or should I start from the top? No, I'll just start here. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Those are too far. There we go. Okay, and let's get some power over there. There we go. Speaking of power, let's see how we're doing. 2 megawatts. We're still doing fine. Got plenty of capacity. We can get up to 5.1 with 1 row of steam engines. So we're going to have to do some chopping of trees here. So bear with me a moment while I get that done. You know, one thing I need to improve when I make these videos is the time. I try to keep them to less than 30 minutes an episode, just because I think that's a good attention span. I think that's what a lot of YouTubers that are more successful than I am do. They try to limit it to about 30 minutes or 20 minutes, but I always forget to note the start time. All right, so I'm just clicking and dragging. Looks like it kind of figures it out. Yeah, so that's something I'm gonna try to improve. I need to get myself set up with a little timer or something. I was looking to see if there was an overlay that I could see in the video with the timer, but that wouldn't show up on the recording. But I didn't come across anything like that. So I'll have to set up something off screen, and then I'll have to remember to look at it, of course, which is another challenge. Okay, so we've got power, we've got ore, and then, like I said, I'm gonna set up so that I can fill these up with wood and get rid of some of this wood. I'll put my excess coal in there as well. Put a couple of fast inserters. So we'll get rid of all that junk, and then they can use that while I start to bring down the coal line. All right, so let's start setting up our inserters. If I go to the left side of all these furnaces with my inserters, then when I go to upgrade to electric, those inserters will be in the center. Okay, perhaps this is a good time to do some defensive or offensive research. Let's do armor 2, because that only takes 30. extend that by one more. Okay. And the research we just finished was automation 2, right? Okay, so we can make blue factories now. Which is good, so that way we can set up our science area from the beginning with the blue factories and get higher speeds. And that'll be up next. Now, in the previous series, I set up the science line with 40 labs, 10 red science pack, 12 green science pack, and 24 blue science pack. That's kind of what I consider to be a double setup. And I'm kind of debating whether to do that again in this game or just go with 5, 6, and 12. Haven't really decided yet, but before I do the next episode, I will make a decision there. I'm thinking I might just go with the regular 5, 6, and 12, just because it seemed like in the last series we were completing the research a lot faster than we could actually make use of it. And I think this series is going to be a little bit slower paced, so we could probably do fine with the regular setup and be a little bit more efficient in terms of space. So I'll probably do that. Okay, this is looking pretty good so far. Let's get rid of some of this ore. And looks like that wood is getting put onto the line. The extra coal I had is depleted already. So let's run some copper down here. All right, so this will be the main line of coal feeding the smelting. So I'd like to split off of that to feed the copper. So let me set up a belt or two here. All right, so it's going to be going roughly there. Now here I want to have room for at least 8 belts of ore. Oops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll leave a space. Well, let's say 2 spaces, and then coal. All right, so this will be our coal. Now I think we're probably not going to be using coal anymore by the time we get to the point that we need 8 belts of ore. So it's probably just not necessary to leave all this room, but I know it's coming. In the previous series, I actually ran into trouble at the end with getting ore to the lines fast enough. I was using a bus of 4 lines of ore, and then I was splitting off of that, kind of like I would do with the main bus. And what I found is that just really wasn't giving us enough throughput, going through all the splitters and everything. So what I want to do in this playthrough is set it up so that I bring all the ore to one place, I run it through a balancer, in this case an 8-belt balancer, and then every line gets its own belt directly from the balancer. Okay, well this is a little bit close, so I'm just going to move these down by 1 space. There we go. Put in a splitter. Okay. Let's check our map again, look for potential threats. Oh, another nice update is you can click and move the mouse around now. You don't have to use arrow keys only. I thought that was a nice addition. Okay, so coal's coming down here. Let me go get some more landfill. And I'll just build I won't fill in the whole pond right now. I'll just build a little path across it. And now it's dark and I can't see where my landfill thing is. Okay, it's up to the north. We'll have to get some lights going here pretty soon. Alright, I think I've got more than enough belt for now. I gotta stop picking that up. Otherwise I'll have nothing but belt in my inventory. Okay, so let's grab our landfill and I will just make a, like a 2x2? 3x3 would be better because then it'll go down the center. So let's do 3x3. And I'll just run straight down. And fortunately that misses our steam engines, which is good. And now we'll see if we've got all this lined up properly. Looks like we do. All right. Awesome. Actually, let me extend that underground belt a little bit more. I want to go to maximum distance there because we're going to need to eventually bring more belts through there. Okay, and I'll put half of that wood in there. I'll put some of that coal in there as well. Yeah, you know, once this fills up with coal, none of that stuff in that box is going to make it in there. So I'll leave it open for now. Or actually, what I could do better is I can put a splitter. No, need it up here. And we could do it like this. That way the wood will get mixed in. I'll keep 2 stacks for now for power poles. There. That way it'll get used up even if this belt gets fully compressed. Okay, well I think that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. In the next episode we'll put down some more mining drills and we'll start getting our science set up. Thanks for watching.